Good morning, friends. It's good to be here this morning. Welcome to Journey Home Meditation's Morning Sit. My name is Michael, and I'll be here this morning for a little shared breath work. We'll do some contemplation on some ideas, and I've got a good poem or two to get to this morning. So let's get settled in wherever you are right now in this moment. Whether it's on a cushion or a chair or driving your car. Maybe you just have this playing on your work computer in the background just to catch a few mindful breaths with other folks, wherever it is. I'm glad you're here. And yes, I'm happy to be here. So let's begin just with a few centering breaths, breaths to bring us into space. But first, before we change anything about what we're doing, just spend a few breaths becoming aware of what you're carrying. And then let's take a few breaths together. We're going to, in these breaths, trying to provide a little bit of space for our bodies to receive breath and to release breath. So checking your posture is a really good invitation to creating movement through the body. We have to open pathways for it to flow more openly. So extending the spine as much as you can, bringing the shoulder blades together gently in the back. We don't need to pull them back and open up unless that's what you need to do to get that space to open for just a moment. But for right now, this is a practice just of simply being opened, receiving and releasing, breathing in through the nose to the bottom of the belly. As you're taking these breaths, listen to your body. Let your body do a little bit of the lead for you, let it lead you in. If it's saying that you're stuck in some place, adjust. Just make an adjustment. There's a quote that I think of often that I'm probably going to butcher. Um, I believe it's E. E. Cummings who said, "Poetry will not save the world, but men die every day for lack of what is found there." I'm not sure if that's exact quote, but that's an exact idea. I think of that. The intentional breathing practice it's very similar in my body to a poem. It's just a few good lines. That's what we're looking for, just a few good lines in a row. If we can string together just a few good lines, it's going to open us in a new way each time. You could read the same poem over and over again and be opened each time if you have a few good lines. And a few good breaths is just as sweet. This morning when I'm gonna actually, let's get rid of these. I don't think there's any reason to have those on today. This morning, as I sat to put a few lines onto a page, I passed by the window that I've seen the spring blossoms uh, pretty much all through the month of April. I saw these cherry blossoms there. And I noticed this morning they were gone. And there was something about that. Um, a sadness, maybe, or a reckoning that was required of me in that moment. And I think that reckoning was to remember the practice. It was to remember the practice. Like, oh yeah, dang, I didn't look yesterday, did I? And then I get stuck in the regret. I get stuck in the I'm not living up to my duties. I'm not fulfilling my obligations to this life. Small thing, small way, but it's there. And then there was where did it go? Where did this time go? What have I been doing? Where have I been? Um, Sort of missing out feeling. And then the practice came and the breath, and there was gratitude because I know that the moment the spring blossoms arrive, it is to let us know that temporary is creativity, that temporary is building something new, that the temporariness, the temporal nature of this beauty right now isn't that it's going to be gone, but it is ushering in transformation. Because the spring blossom is really just the yawn of the tree before it brings the fruit. The tree opens up to the world. It's the morning and it's stretching itself. That felt good. Get that stretch in. But those spring blossoms, they just are the invitation. They invite us in. They invite the bees to wake up from their cold mornings, As the sun starts to strike on the flowers, the nectar begins to slowly come out and invites the little creepy crawlies, the bugs, the ants, all these things start to come out to say, there's something here just for me. And the temporariness of that is to give us what we need to survive the times that we might not remember that beauty that came for free. And so then, as we're laboring away, we have a memory. So we go to the tree and we look, and all of a sudden there's fruit. Where there was this loss of the blossom became the promise of a fruit, right? And the fruit is carrying forth the seed, and the seed continues the story over and over again. It's this beautiful, beautiful ebb and flow. So the work this morning is to not get stuck in the glamour, but to appreciate it fully for its temporary nature, and to find that the love was not in the blossoming, but from the tree itself. That's where the love is. This beauty, it's just the way that love smells in the morning. This beauty it's only the sound of the footsteps of beloved. That's it. It's not beloved. It's just the sound of the footsteps. So I wrote a poem this morning. And I'm happy to share it. For those who maybe have been listening in, you might have recalled a Spring Sweet poem when I woke one morning to see for the first time this year the spring cherry blossoms fully opened. So this poem is a continuation of the story. Then one morning, the cherry blossoms already gone. The green leaves stayed in their place to be blown by great winds and battered by rains, to do only what they can to make food of your light and to stay. For this season, doing their tireless work until letting go, to fall at the foot of what held them. I'm going to try that again. There's something that wasn't quite flowing, so let's find it. Then one morning, the cherry blossoms already gone. The green leaves stayed in their place to be blown by great winds and battered by rains, to do only what they can to make food of your light, and to stay for this season, doing their tireless work until letting go, to fall at the foot of what held them. I've been having some good reminders this year. I've been open to a lot of feeling, a lot of sensation. There's been death. There's been babies that I get to spend time with. There's been sitting at the precipice of that threshold of dying and breathing life uh, with someone. There's been deepening of loves. There's been reawakening of loves. There's been fits of sorrow and shock and all of these things, you know. And it's in the temporary nature of it all that I feel so gifted by these blooms. Yeah. Getting to spend time with the students in my class, I become acutely aware of how big and fast and intense life can be in its beginnings. And there's a vigor in that this like hunger for life that these students have that is admirable. I don't know why older generations like to uh, diminish the youth. They are so empowered when you can sit with them and uh, let them tap into their joy, just their joy. Um, they can create from that, I guess, what the kids would call a whole vibe. I'm so weird and old. uh, but it's been a great teacher of mine to be a teacher, to remember that the things that we say to one another do have a way of landing inside of each other, and to be mindful of that. So when I'm speaking from my places of old insecurities or fears or angers, um, or nostalgias for what was, or expectations of what I thought would be, I am not speaking with a awareness and a mindfulness that this is landing in this person right now. That's not the passing of wisdom. The passing of wisdom is not talking about the old ways. It's my friend Andy had this great way of phrasing it. He said, and I don't know if this was words he got from someone else, it doesn't matter. He would say, do not what the old ones did, but seek what the old ones sought. And I think that the fact that the old ones were the young ones uh, until they became the old ones, they were new until they became old and gone. They were fresh. They were spring cherry blossoms before they became the fruit and the seed and in the soil. And to remember that's our place. That's our place. That is to really be acutely aware that joy is in this moment. And that's what we have, to just be joyful right now. Drop your expectations. Let go of your fears. Take off your shoes and dance. Just dance. There's going to come a time when your feet are no longer on this earth. There's plenty of time for not dancing. This is a window. to smell the spring cherry blossoms is a short-lived thing. Put your face in there. Enjoy the moment. I'd like to share one more poem that I read this morning that really also, it didn't inspire this. I thought it was the serendipity of opening this book and reading a couple of poems, and then this one hit, and I said, oh yeah, that's the one. That's the one for right now. This is it. This is a book that I'm not sure where I fell into this book, but I'm so happy that I picked this up. Something was striking about the cover, and I did my book test. I opened it and I read 3 or 4 lines, and I was like, oh, these are really good lines. It's worth the cost of the used book for these lines. And I'm so glad that I did, because this book is rich with them. Just absolutely like a bounty of gems and jewels and shiny things. The book is called The Perfect Hour, and it's selected poems by Sophia de Mello Brainer Andreessen. So I'll show you that there so you can see. Now, these poems are written in the Portuguese language and then translated by a couple of translators. So I always really love translated poems, actually. Some people are like, oh, you have to read it in its original language and to understand it, but that's not what poetry is. These aren't instructions for how to use your bread machine. A translator, that's the job of a poet, is to translate already. It's already a translation. We're just translating the way that God sounds when he mumbles, or the way that God sounds when she rants and raves and rambles on. It's a translation. And so I like the translations, and I love it when they go side by side. So even though I don't understand the Portuguese language, I can hear and witness the shape of the sounds on the page. I'll spare you my attempt to read it in the Portuguese. I'll spare me the embarrassment. But this poem is called Today. O day today, O day of bright hours, blooming on the waves, singing in the forests, the air glitters transparent, caressing. And the ghost of strange marvels visits one by one your every hour, sometimes with sudden rests as full as the pauses in a line of verse. O day today, O day of fleeting hours, dancing in the sweetness and the bitterness, being both perfect and brief. What a wonderful set of lines, especially at the end there. O day today, O day of fleeting hours, dancing in the sweetness and the bitterness of being both perfect and brief. Man. So finding our meditation posture. Sitting with the spine able to be straightened as much as it can. Bringing the shoulder blades together gently by just resting your hands, palms facing upward on your lap. This will open your shoulders just enough to open your chest and open your heart to receive. Breathing in through the nose to the bottom of the belly, being mindful to not fill the lungs directly into the chest. Let's let that part of our body just get a few moments of stillness It's that stillness that's going to allow the grief or the joy or the sorrow or the fear, whatever it is that we're holding in our chest. We hold so much in our chest. And the stillness that we give to the chest as we breathe down deep into the body, into the belly, filling our body, letting the diaphragm do the work. It's that stillness that allows for the rising up. The quickest way to be in the present moment is to bring joy to the table. Joy is now. Joy is now. And this also is how we can make temporary feel longer. Let's breathe in through the nose to the bottom of the belly slowly. Let's hold this moment of breath gently and make it last. Let's see what we can do with what it feels like to make temporary forever. Breathing in and breathing out. Oh man, that one breath was 40 seconds, but it felt um, full and rich. So breathe in joy today. Breathe in joy. Thanks for being here this week. Today's the last day of our week before the weekend. We'll be back on Monday morning. I'm going to spot a tea. Today's tea, if you are interested, if you are a person who enjoys different teas, or if you would like to get interested in teas, today I'm drinking a pot of pu'er. It's condensed cake of fermented and aged tea leaves. The fermentation process and the aging of these leaves, it's all the same. Tea leaves are tea leaves, whether green or black, once if they come from this source. But once it ages and ferments, it gets this richness of flavor. And that's kind of like us. You know, it's a strong brew, but it tastes like It holds the sweetness of memory. It's like looking at pictures on your grandmother's wall. You know, it's a delicious brew. So slow down. Have a pot of tea this weekend. See if you can find some lingering blossoms and say goodbye to them. Say thank you. Write them a poem. Paint them a picture. Write them a letter and put it in the mail and send it to someone you've been meaning to send a letter to. Just tell them about those blossoms. See what it does. Take refuge in the Buddha and the Dharma and the Sangha. Beginning next week, we have a whole bunch of new programming here at the Beside Meditation Hall and Community Healing Space, as well as Journey Home. So hopefully we will get it onto the website maybe this weekend, but it's journeyhome.care, C-A-R-E. And we've got a lot of work to do to get all the updates up, but check in with us, info@journeyhome.care, or you can message me directly, journeyhomemeditation@gmail.com, or hit me up through Substack. I'd be happy to be interacting with you. Hari Om.